Shalom, shalom, my name is Sophie Lavender and welcome to my channel all about autism, where I do an autism video every week. Now, this week's question is, does autism show differently in girls? And how do traits in autistic women vary compared to our male counterparts? Let's get into it. Now, gender does seem to make a big difference in when we are diagnosed compared to autistic boys. Autistic women are usually diagnosed as teenagers or as adults compared to autistic boys who are diagnosed when they're very young, as in toddlers and young children. And I do personally believe this has something to do with how society views women and how autistic girls are raised differently compared to autistic boys, and the society's expectations on girls compared to society's expectation on boys. As young girls, we are expected to be quiet, more reserved, and to have different interests compared to boys. And in my personal opinion, through observation and through personal experience, the way autistic girls are raised differently compared to boys does have an effect on our autistic traits. Let's get into that in more detail. Now, before we dive in, it's important to remember two very important things: that autism is a spectrum, and so is gender. You heard that right. Gender is a spectrum. So when I'm talking about autism in girls, I'm talking about autism in cisgender girls in this video. But I really would love to learn more about autism in other genders. For my research, I looked at my own personal experiences, the personal experiences of my in real life friends who are also autistic, and I also spent a lot of time reading, listening and watching to learn from other people's experiences. And this research was done to see if there is a pattern, to see if this is a thing. We've got to bear in mind that the things that I'm about to go into are in general, and they're not just exclusive to autistic women. On average, autistic girls are a little bit better at picking up on non-verbal cues. However, autistic women do seem to struggle with communication later on in life. And our special interests seem to be more socially acceptable compared to our male counterparts, where autistic women are more likely to have special interests in music and TV shows, get really into fandoms. Autistic women are also more likely to be extroverts. I count myself as an ambivert, leaning towards being an extrovert. I like going out to see friends, I like talking to friends, but I also like to look after my own needs, and if I feel like I need to spend time inside to recuperate my energy, then I do. Autistic women also tend to be quite chameleon-like towards other people. And what I mean by that is that an autistic woman will mask to suit the people that she is around and the environment that she is around in order to try better fit in. And this does mean autistic women tend to mask more and mimic other people's speech and behaviours in order to fit in. From personal experience and observation, and from speaking to other autistic women online, we tend to have really extra reactions to things. Someone might say that it's over the top, or you're too loud, or you're just too much. But in my personal experience, I have found that when I'm frustrated by something, I really show that I'm frustrated. And when I react to something, my reaction tends to be just a little bit bigger, a little bit extra compared to my neurotypical friends who are also women. Because we are more likely to be extroverts and more communing, like, it kind of links into the fact that autistic women tend to have a bigger desire to socialize, be social, and do social things and get involved with other people. Like, in regards to this, we feel the FOMO, you know, we do kind of have that fear of missing out, and we do want to get involved, we do want to get our hands in, compared to autistic men who might prefer to kind of take a step back and kind of stay, you know, in their own space, whereas autistic women have a bigger kind of need, we feel this need to get out and get involved. However, this huge desire to be social does put us at higher risk of falling into the trap of becoming people pleasers and just going along with stuff, even if it neglects our needs, even if it goes against our own principles, even if it goes against our boundaries, because we want to fit in and we're scared of not having friends. I think a lot of people are scared of not having friends, you know. People in general are social creatures. But I think autistic women feel this more than autistic men and just people in general. So we are therefore more likely to put ourselves in situations where we don't want to be in, because we want to fit in with the crowd. We want to do what other people are doing, and we want people to accept us, and we have a struggle saying no to things because we want to people please. And it's all out of like this fear of not having friends and being outcasted. And this leads to a cycle of masking, which leads to anxiety because we're neglecting our own needs. It leads to apologising more, and even apologising for things that we shouldn't apologise, you know, for doing, such as expressing our needs. And people pleasing, putting ourselves last, potentially putting ourselves in risky situations. Like, for me personally, my personal experience with this is that I used to go to nightclubs with friends. We're talking years ago. I used to hate it, really, really hate it. I hate nightclubs in general. It's just not my thing, it's just not my vibe, it's not happening. And I used to put myself in the situation where I knew I was going to have sensory overload. I knew I was going to hate it. I knew I was going to be surrounded with drunk people, which is very triggering for me. I do not like being around drunk people. That's personal reasons. So I kind of put myself in those situations because I wanted to fit in and I wanted my friends to like me. I'd kind of just go along with things, and like a friend will say something, and even if I didn't agree with it, I'd pretend to agree with it because I was scared of the confrontation, and I was scared of losing a friend because we didn't agree on something. And at the moment, there is something I'm working on the feeling of it's okay to not agree on something and you could still be the person's friend. I mean, it really does depend on what the thing is, because I have zero tolerance for racists and transphobes. Another thing as well, which I find quite interesting because of a lot of personal experience as well, is that autistic women either don't care for gender roles and are seen as tomboys growing up, or another thing that I've noticed as well is that an autistic woman could care too much about gender roles and doing everything she can into fitting society's expectations of what a woman should be. Because inside growing up as an autistic person, you just know you're different. You just know. But you feel like everybody else feels like that. And I know for me personally, and a lot of other autistic people, is that we feel like aliens growing up. We feel like we're from a different planet and we've been plopped on this planet and we have to kind of learn the ways of this planet in order to fit in. I've noticed some autistic women will like see like the rules in society. There's a lot of invisible rules in society which we don't see and we don't get. But if a young autistic girl is told you have to have makeup, you have to have skirts, you have to be into this, you have to do that, then they will go ahead and do it because, again, FOMO, fear of missing out, and also fear of not being accepted and the fear of not having any friends. But in my personal experience, I didn't see a lot of these like invisible rules. Like, a lot of autistic people don't see invisible rules. But in regard to like gender roles, I felt like as a kid I wasn't told you have to do this. I was given the choice of what interests I had and the clothes that I wore and things like that. And so growing up, I didn't really care for gender roles that much, and I just didn't see the point. I think from a young age, it wasn't registering. So if I take me for example and a male friend, I like to go out for dinners, go to the cinema, go to networking events, go to poetry events and just hang out with people. But my male autistic friend, he likes to stay in, he likes to absorb himself in his special interests, he likes to keep a lot of communication online, whereas I prefer communication face to face. And where I kind of have this people pleasing problem because I'm scared of losing friends, this guy, and I so wish I could be like this, just doesn't give a hoot. He does not care. And whereas I'm like afraid of the confrontation and I don't like it, whereas he isn't afraid of it and he is like, this is what I think, I stand by this, and if you don't like it, off you go. But what I would like to know now is that what variations, what differences have you noticed as an autistic woman, or as an autistic person who hangs out with autistic women, or as somebody who knows an autistic woman or has an autistic female friend in their life? What have you noticed compared to male autistic people? But also, not forgetting how gender is a spectrum, have you noticed any differences amongst the other genders in autism? Please comment down below. I really want to start a conversation here, and I want to learn more. This is a call out to teach me, because this is something that's quite interesting. It's been quite very interesting to read up upon. But before I go, I would like to bring to you the attention of a very important petition, one that I firmly stand by. And that is a petition to YouTube to get them to take down videos of autistic people and children having meltdowns. This petition was set up by the lovely lady Sarah Turner, also known as autistic.barbie on Instagram and Twitter. And in her description of the petition, she has said, "Filming and posting videos of children's autism meltdowns on YouTube is a clear violation of YouTube's community guidelines. YouTube has the following statement on their community guidelines page: it's not okay to post abusive videos and comments on YouTube. Filming children's autism meltdowns and posting private and terrifying experience for the minor for the world to consume at leisure is abuse. Simply put, humiliation is not a form of autism advocacy." And I want to repeat that again because it's so important. Humiliation is not a form of autism advocacy. You are not raising awareness of autism when you do this. You are violating your child's privacy, and that is abuse. I say it's a form of abuse whether the one posting that had the intention or not. YouTube has another statement on their community guidelines page: posting videos that could create hate against a specific group or people or incite violence, showcasing and sensualizing meltdowns leads to the fear of autism itself and could lead parents down a dangerous path to seeking a cure for their children with radical methods. Autistics are routinely victimized in day-to-day life as is systematic ableist views and procedures. The last thing we need is dangerous propaganda in the name of awareness, and it isn't awareness, it's abuse. And I agree with everything she says there, and I completely agree that posting a video of an autistic person having a meltdown, it does nothing but cause harm. No good comes out of that. It's not raising awareness at all. And if you think it does raise awareness, you really need to look into why that isn't. You really need to listen to the actual autistic people. If we are telling you to stop because it's abusive, then you should just take our word for it and stop. Please, please, please sign the petition. Let's get YouTube to listen, and let's bring a change to make the internet a safer place for autistic people and autistic children. The link to the petition is down below, and I will also be sharing it across my social medias, where you can follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and now TikTok at Shalom Lavender. But until next week, may the stars bring you joy and the galaxy bring you love. I love you. See you again next week. Bye.